Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and this is my channel, Her Pacific Northwest Washington Life. And today I wanted to talk to you about our wedding invitations. So, wedding invitations were a big game changer, like in every aspect of the sense. They literally changed our color scheme, our theme, everything. And it's probably the thing I have struggled with the most since this whole wedding planning process began. So, for those of you that are new to this series or haven't watched any of the past videos in the series yet, our wedding started out as kind of an outdoorsy, at least that was my plan for it. I don't know that Skylar necessarily had a plan other than he really just wanted to show up. But we were originally thinking of doing like a dark purpley plum color and a sage green. And so when I was looking for wedding invitations, I originally started looking on Basic Invite and like The Knot and some other websites that are really common for printing invitations. And I was looking for designs that were kind of outdoorsy looking, had a lot of like tree elements or silhouettes and things like that. I wasn't looking for anything with florals or kind of like solid backgrounds with like splashes of foil or anything like that. So I started shopping around on all these websites, and first thing I noticed was wedding invites are ridiculously expensive to print, even with all the promotions these sites run, where you can get like 25% off or whatever the amount is. It was still going to cost us probably between like $200 and $300 just for wedding invites. So that didn't include your detail card, which was an extra cost. It didn't include the RSVP card, which was an extra cost. None of that. So then I was like, you know what? I've got a Silhouette Cameo 3. I can make our wedding invitations. So then I started looking on Etsy for templates. And I found this really cool tree template, which I'll insert here if I can find it again. And I was so excited about it. I was like, Skylar's gonna love this. He's just gonna be all gung ho. Like, it's gonna cost, I don't know, we'll say like $10 to $20 to buy the template. And then I would just have to buy the paper and all that stuff. And like, we were gonna get away in under like $100 or something with these invites. I show them to him and he says, I like those, but they're kind of boring. How are they boring? Like, there's trees, there's cool. So I wasn't looking for floral because I figured you wouldn't like that. He's like, I don't mind floral. So then he started looking for wedding invitations. And he kept pulling up these train tickets. And he was like, we need to do something really cool like train tickets or something. And so I told him the only way we were sending out train ticket invitations was if we were completely changing our wedding to be Hogwarts or Harry Potter themed, and we were sending out Hogwarts Express tickets. And he said, I'd be okay with that. Okay, so here I am starting to plan a Harry Potter themed wedding. So once we got that decided, I thought, I was looking and a lot of people did like Marauders Maps invitations, and I can't remember what the other common one was. But my thought was an invitation should be like a Hogwarts acceptance letter, right? I thought that would be so easy to find, like an already templated version that you could just switch out information on. No, it wasn't easy. So I tried to format one myself, but I wanted to use a specific font that I found online. I'll leave this link down below as well. And I knew I wanted to print these on 5x7 cards because I had already purchased the envelopes at this point. I knew that that was the size that the invitations were going to fit in, and I didn't want it to be printed on like 8.5 by 11 or standard letter size A5, not A5, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't want it to be on standard letter size. because I just felt that looked a little cheap, kind of. I wanted just a card that people could put on a bulletin board or their fridge or whatever. Um, and it wasn't printing properly, and I couldn't get the font big enough to where it was actually legible when you printed it out. And then with the swoops of a lot of the letters on their downstroke, it was cutting those off, so it would leave like a swoop and then a weird dot in places. So I just struggled a lot with it, and I couldn't make it work how I wanted it to work. And I was also getting really stressed out about how I was even going to create an RSVP card to look like a Hogwarts Express ticket, because I wasn't finding exactly what I wanted as a template on Etsy. So I started looking around again for like Harry Potter themed invites, and what initially caught my attention was oh no, was this gatefold. And I was like, you know what? It's not as unique, but it'd be really cool nonetheless. So I was looking at this, and I also found the shop. The shop is Amanda Memoranda, which I will leave linked down below. I'll also link exactly what I have here for the gatefold and the invitation cards, or the suite, which you get the invitation, you get the details card, and you get the RSVP card. So I was like, that would be really cool, and I could totally do that. So I showed Skylar, and he was like, yeah, that's fine by me. You know, after he was so gung-ho about we have to have something unique and cool, it's got to be a train ticket, he was fine with this. So I purchased both of these items. The gatefold itself, the template, was on sale for 75 cents, and the invitation suite was on sale for $15. So in total, these were $15.75. I'll show you the paper I print this on, both of these on, and everything else, and just kind of like give you a cost breakdown. And I can probably at the end of this, or in the description box, give you a cost per invitation. Our wedding is really small, which is why for the most part it wasn't super cost effective to use one of the websites that I mentioned before, because the more cards you order, the more the price drops down. I only sent out 31 invites. So it just, the cost wasn't there for us. And I knew that my time, it was worth my time to be able to do this in order to save there. So I think that's it for an introduction, you looking at me explaining things. And now I'm going to change the angle of my camera and show you everything I used in order to make these. I am going to obviously block out our details on this card, so that way, you know, that's not all out there. But you'll get the basic gist of it, and if you also click on the link down below for Amanda Memoranda's Etsy shop and to look at this suite, you'll be able to get a good idea of what it looked like. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so here we are with a nice little close-up shot of the envelope, not the envelope, the invitation. Conveniently, Skylar's last name starts with an H, so that's why I got an H stamp. But realistically, you could do this with any initial if you wanted, or you could get, I know they sell the Hogwarts crest as well as each house crest. And then the invites just slipped in really nicely. I did, when I was putting down the wax seal, put a piece of aluminum foil in between, that way it wouldn't get stuck on the invitation. And then the wax seal can either be broken or you can just slide them out. So these are not our actual invitations. These are a printout of the template, unedited, just so you can get an idea of what they look like. They do come already with this parchment background, and I personally bought parchment paper just for our invitations. So I had to manipulate the file in order to get rid of the parchment background, because otherwise it was just way too saturated on one side and not the other. And plus I didn't want to waste the ink in order to print this. So you can see then the difference in the paper a little bit. And then when I had to basically remove the background, it also removed a lot of the color from the snitch and just made it a brighter gold, which I'm personally okay with because that's more true to color in my opinion of what the golden snitch looks like. But you basically have your parent information up here, request your presence at the wedding of. I put our first, middle, and last names here just because they didn't fill up the space very well, just our first and last names, so I wanted to fill that up more. And then you can put your wedding date and time as well as your venue information here. And it was really easy. This is a Word document, so all you have to do is just edit the text within it. So really, really simple. And then details card, I put our wedding website and that people need a Discover Pass because we are getting married at a Washington State park and Discover Passes are required for parking. And then information about our reception as well. This is your detail card. You could do whatever you want with it. And then the RSVP card just says kindly respond by, you can update what day you want your guests to respond by. They have a space to write their names, accept with pleasure, regretfully decline, and the number of guests attending. I'm sure you could add in some text here as well if you are having specific dinner choices. We're not, so we didn't need that. The other thing is there are two fonts that the template has, and you do have to install those on your computer, which is super simple, and she provides instructions on how to download the font onto your computer when you buy the templates and stuff. So super, super easy. And once you install them and you open up the document, it's already formatted properly. So this is basically, like I said, the parchment paper we used, and the RSVP card doesn't have any special information on it, so this is what it looks like. The parchment paper I bought is from Amazon, and it's from Thunderbolt Paper Company. It's just a natural parchment color in 65-pound cover cardstock. It's both laser and inkjet printable. I printed ours on a laser printer and it was perfect, and you get 100 sheets. So I divided, the cost of one pack of this is $14.95 divided by the 100 sheets equals out to, we'll round up to 15 cents a sheet, essentially. As you can see, the invitations are slightly smaller than this. So the reason I have these printed out is because by keeping the background as it was, it left the natural, like where the white and where the invitation started. So basically when I was cutting my invites, I would cut all of my invitations one side, and then once those were done, I would cut the next side with this as a template. That way I knew where to cut. So I just used the 5x7 for each piece of the invitation. And it worked out really well. It's a nice sturdy cardstock, but not too much to where it would make your envelope way too bulky and cost way too much money to send. The gatefold is from the same company, Thunderbolt Paper Co. And this I purchased in the dark blue linen. It's an 80-pound cardstock that's 8.5 by 11. It's also 100 sheets. This was $37.01 for a pack. So divide that out by 100, even though I only printed 30, so maybe I should redo my math. But that's essentially 37 cents a sheet. And then when you cut out the template on the silhouette, You could cut this by hand. You can also put it into your Cricut. This is what it looks like. This one is a little rough looking because I didn't have my blade setting set properly, but basically this is it. I bought a scoring board so that way I could score the edges here and fold nicely and evenly because otherwise it was really rough. The scoring board I have is from EK Tools. Let's see if I can get this in here. Again, I bought this from Amazon. This is an envelope folder if you were to do your own envelopes. There's also a scoring tool and also a folder, but it's just a 12 by 12. And basically all I did was place the card here, and then where the grooves lined up, you just run your knife through there and it makes a really nice score. And then it's a lot easier to fold in and stuff. So super, super simple. And then to trim the paper, I already had a paper trimmer. Mine is a Carl. It's a pretty big size. I think we got it from Joann's years and years ago, but just, you know, your basic paper trimmer will work. And that was for cutting the envelopes, or not the envelopes, the invitation cards. So then, like I said, I had slipped a piece of aluminum foil in between in order to keep the wax off the cards. But I bought 2 different colors of wax because I didn't know how much I was going to need or what we were going with. And the colors I bought were silver and bronze, and we ended up going with the bronze because I prefer to keep it to more traditional Ravenclaw colors, and also we thought this would stand out better and just look better. So what I bought are these little wax beads, and then it comes with a spoon and 2 tea light candles. And I found that 2 of the wax melts worked best together. And these are just, you get 150 pieces, and they were $9.99 a piece. So split amongst our 30 cards, which I would have had enough for 75 cards. This was about 33 cents per card for me. And then envelopes I also bought on Amazon. Had I thought about this beforehand, or I guess not purchased my envelopes beforehand, I would have gone with a gray envelope for the outside and a blue envelope for the RSVP cards, just because these are really close together, and since this is what gets pulled out of this, it would have been nice to have a bit more of a contrast. But again, like I said, I purchased these on Amazon. They are just square fold backs. They're not self-adhesive or anything. You do have to lick them or moisten them yourselves. I got an A7 and an A1 size. The A7 were $27.62 for a pack of 100, and the A1 size were $9.94 for a pack of 50. So about 28 cents an envelope here, and then about 20 cents an envelope here. Oh, and I forgot to show you the wax seal. You can buy a whole pack of wax seals with every letter you want on Amazon. We only needed the H, and this is the one here. It'll be easier, I think, if I unscrew it. But this is the one I went with. I thought it was nice and simple, but also just really beautiful. And this was, let's see, wax seal stamp. It was $10 as well. So I think that's everything. I did really quickly scratch out all the numbers here. Let me zoom you in just a tad bit and see if this will focus. So I scratched out all the numbers, and for ours, it cost us about $1.85 per invitation, and that was your 2 envelopes, your 3 cards within the invitations and the gatefold, the wax seals, and the stamps. So in my opinion, that's a really, really, really good price, because I think we were looking at paying close to $1.75 just per invitation from the big website. So for me, this was a really great route to go. My dad helped me stuff the envelopes, which was really cute, and he closed the flaps on the invites as well. That way I could get to stamping, and obviously I made a couple of mistakes the first few times, but it was really fun in my opinion. And I have enough of this parchment paper and enough envelopes to print out thank you cards to match and stuff for after our wedding, obviously. So I'm really happy with how our invites turned out. Obviously, my original plan once we decided on Harry Potter was to have the Hogwarts letter as well as a platform 9 3/4 ticket, but this is a good alternative to that since I was struggling finding what I wanted. So I hope you found this helpful in any way if you decide to DIY your own invitations. Etsy has a lot of different templates, especially if you're not looking for something so niche as Harry Potter, maybe. And I know a lot of people don't prefer to shop on Amazon, but you can also shop on Etsy and stuff for envelopes and things like that to get everything you need if you wanted a setup similar to what I have. So I really hope you found this interesting or helpful or fun to watch, or whatever it was your reason for clicking on this video. And if you have any tips or tricks or comments or anything like that, or just want to chat, please do so down in the comments below, and I will speak with you there until my next video. Bye!